Alright, so you clicked on this video wanting to know how to get good at fighting games. You may not know what a numpad notation is, what to learn, what to do, have any idea of what you're doing, but I got you. That's where your boy is here today to give you the ultimate fighting game guide that's going to teach you literally everything you probably need to know in order to improve at a fighting game. We're going to cover everything from low level stuff to high level stuff. We're going to have a little bit of everything, and I feel like if you follow these steps, you will truly make improvements, or at least go in the right direction when it comes to improving at fighting games. If you're wondering why you should listen to this random dude on the internet, I got you. I've been competing since December of 2019, so about 2 years, and in that short amount of time I've been able to win tournaments, get countless of top 8s in both Grand Blue and Guilty Gear Strive, and in some BB Pag. I've gone offline, I've been online, I've done pretty much everything. I've won big tournaments, I've won small tournaments, I've won money, I've done 10v10s, I've done a lot of things, and I feel like I know what it takes, especially considering how many questions I get asked on how to get good at fighting games. So I'm like, let me just do a video on this, and everybody can just watch this video as a universal guide to everything that you need to do in order to improve. So the first thing you're probably thinking is, where do I start? Well, first things first, you gotta pick your game. Which fighting game are you gonna be playing? Are you gonna be playing Guilty Gear Strive, Grand Blue, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Dead or Alive, whatever? Forewarning, this video is going to be through the perspective of a 2D fighting game player. I've barely played 3D fighting games. I've only really played Tekken, and I haven't sunk that much time into it. So all these tips that are coming up are probably going to be more useful in a 2D fighting game, but they could still be useful for 3D fighting games as well. And once you know which game do you feel like you like, do you want to play a hard game at first? Do you want to play an easy game just to get started? There's a lot of things that you go into this, but the most important thing should be, do you find that game to be cool or fun, and do you find anything interesting in that game? Whether it be the characters, the supers, the music, the visuals, whatever. First things first, you gotta see if you find it cool and fun, and that's the game that you should eventually pick. Now, before we get into anything else, I get this question way too much. What is numpad notation? Well, if you're watching this video on a computer and you have a keyboard, just look at your keyboard. If not, I'll put an image up on the screen. Numpad notation is essentially a universal language for everybody to use in the FGC to talk about inputs. For example, in order to do a fireball input, instead of calling it a quarter circle forward, you will call it a 2-3-6. Because if you draw a line 2-3-6, you'll see that it makes a quarter circle. So when people talk about 2-3-6L, they're talking about a fireball, and that is essentially what numpad notation is directional ways of talking about like input, etc. Every single spot in your numpad is essentially a directional input that you can put on the stick, and that's how we talk about like combo recipes, and that's how we discuss inputs and things like that, because there's a universal way, because everybody has a different way of saying it. Some people may say quarter circle forward, like down forward. There's so many ways of talking about it, so everybody universally speaks in 2-3-6, 2-1-4, etc., things like that. Now that you've chosen your game and you know what numpad notation is, now you're probably going to do researching on your game. What characters are good, what characters should you pick, like combos, etc., guides, things like that. Forewarning, ignore tier lists. Don't listen to tier lists. I know everybody wants to make tier lists because that's what gets views, but just ignore tier lists. Don't really look at them. Don't really take them into much account, because you, unless you're trying to be a top level competitive player, are not gonna be affected by tier lists whatsoever. So don't listen to tier lists. Just pick whatever character you think is fun and looks cool to you. So you picked your character, you did your research, whatever. So what do you need to learn first? Now, a beginner mistake that I see a lot of players doing is that they go and pick their game, they pick their character, they immediately go to training mode, and they only look up combos and practice combos. And then when they actually get into an actual match, they're lost and they don't know what to do. So what I want everybody to do is that when they go on training mode, the first thing you want to learn is your character's normals and the way your character plays neutral. Neutral, in layman's terms, I'll leave a description to an actual FGC glossary where you can pretty much look up and learn every single word and every single definition of FGC lingo. Like if you don't know what neutral is, or fuzzies, or meaties, or anything, just go on there in the link in the description, look it up, and they'll give you a very detailed description and definition of it. It's a very good tool, especially for beginners. But essentially, in layman's terms, playing neutral is essentially like the space in between you, how you get in on somebody, if you're a zoner, how you zone somebody out, decision making, things like that. Those are the things you want to learn first. Your character's normals and how you're going to play the neutral game. Am I going to zone? Am I going to rush down? Am I going to play the mid-range game? These are the things you need to figure out before learning combos. After you get those down, I would suggest learning block strings. What am I going to do when somebody's blocking? Because that's going to be what people do 90% of the time. They're probably going to block. So you want to find ways to open people up and find strings and block strings on what to use on people to either open them up or get them in a block string. Then you should probably learn some combos, some very basic combos, bread bread and butters. Bread and butters are basically combos that are very easy. Always there, you can't drop them. They're so easy, you can't drop them. It's guaranteed damage. And then you should probably learn some mix-ups, some setups, some okay setups to use on people's wake-ups. But the thing that I'm really trying to get across here is that the first thing you should learn is your neutral and your character's normals and what your game plan is going to be. What am I trying to do in this match? Am I trying to, like I said, zone? Am I trying to keep people out? Am I trying to keep people in? Am I trying to get this setup going? Am I trying to rush somebody down? Am I trying to, like, whatever I'm trying to do, you need to figure that out first before you learn anything that has to do with combos. Combos are arguably the last thing you should figure out, because I see so many beginner players fall into the trap of they just go into training mode, they look up some combos, they practice combo for hours, and then they go online and they wonder why they're losing. It's because you're not learning anything else except the combos, when the combos are honestly not that important. But if you're also struggling a lot to see what's good, what should I do, I have no idea what I'm doing, then I would recommend joining some Discord servers. There's tons of Discord servers out there for whatever game you play. No matter what game you play, it's gonna have a Discord server, and it's gonna have an active player base in that Discord server. That's why you hear the term sometimes of Discord fighter, because that means that the only people playing the game are on that Discord. But those are for really poverty games, not usually the mainstream ones. Regardless, you should join a Discord server for the game and ask people around, make some friends, ask for matches. Don't be shy. I know there's so many people out there that say the FGC is toxic or whatever, and while admittedly there are a few bad apples, every community has those. Mostly everybody's very welcoming, everybody's open to teaching you and showing you the ropes and doing whatever they need to do. There's so many streams out there of players in their respective games doing streams, and some of them are educational based, so they're open to questions and they do a lot of guides. You can go on YouTube and search up guides. I am personally gonna start streaming very soon, probably not that many fighting games because I'm doing other plans in this upcoming month. If you saw my channel update video, you'll know what I'm talking about, but that's off topic. But yeah, I would recommend joining some Discords, asking people around, asking for tips, asking for games, and asking just make some friends. Because going on to my next point, if you really want to improve, like if this is for the people that are very serious about this and really want to improve at fighting games, I would recommend finding friends, making friends, or having rivals or training partners. You know how in animes they have the rival character like either Vegeta or Sasuke or Bakugo or whatever, which is a rival to the main character, and they push each other to be better. That's also how it works in real life and in fighting games. If you have a training partner who you train with constantly and you push each other to be better, whether you call that a rival or a training partner, it's whatever. But if you have somebody there that can play with you constantly and is improving with you, and they get better and you get better, and you try to beat each other, and you have like this rivalry going on, that's gonna boost your growth pretty fast. I personally had that experience, and I can tell you that it definitely increases your growth because you're always so motivated to beat and be better than this other person. So it's gonna improve your growth and speed up your growth quite a lot. It's very impressive. It shocked me when it happened to me. But this also applies to my next point, that do not be afraid. Do not duck strong players. Like I said earlier, you should join Discords and you should have rivals and training partners. But also don't duck strong players. Don't duck your rival or Discord people because you're afraid of losing. Listen, trust me. You, especially as a beginner, are going to lose a lot. And that's okay. It's okay to lose. It's okay to get your butt handed to you over and over and over and over again. Because it's gonna happen. It happened to me. I'm sure it happened to pretty much every top player you look at right now. Whether you watch Sonic Fox, I'm sure they had to lose a lot when they first got started. I'm sure they got their butt handed to them all the time. But now they're one of the best fighting games players in the world. But you don't see that. You see their success, but you don't see the struggle that they went to get to that point. And this applies for pretty much every single top player, because I see so many people duck strong players or duck matches because they're like, oh, I'm scared I'm gonna lose, or I don't want to lose my rank, or I don't want to do this or whatever. But no, in order to really have growth and really have experience, do not duck matches. Play against strong players, get your butt handed to you, and use that as a lesson, which goes into my next point, saying you gotta treat every match like a lesson. Don't go into every match trying to win unless you're already a top caliber player. Especially for beginners and mid-level players, I would recommend treating every match as a teaching lesson. Try to get something down there, whether it be practicing block strings, whether it be practicing mix-ups, whether it be practicing Oki, whether it be practicing your combos, whether it be practicing your neutral game, whatever. Use every match as a lesson. Don't go into every match, especially if you're trying to improve, just with the mindset, or I want to win, like I'm gonna win. Okay, but how are you gonna win, and what are you gonna use to win, and what can you improve? Like, I try to go into most of my matches trying to practice either a new setup or a new mix-up or a new strategy against a certain matchup that I'm really struggling against. Just try to be a sponge and try to soak in a lot of knowledge. Learn to be an analyst, learn to be critical of yourself, and don't take it too personal, because it's gonna happen. You're gonna lose sometimes, and you're gonna lose a lot at first, but if you take every game like a lesson and you grow from it and learn from it, you're gonna be way better than 99% of the beginners out there that usually lose and get frustrated and quit. You gotta learn from your losses, man. Look at every time you lose, think about it critically, analyze it, reflect on yourself. What did I do in this match that caused me to lose? And if you identify that, you can work on it, keep going on it, keep practicing it, and eventually that's gonna get turned into a strength, whatever that may be. Maybe you're like, I let this person jump in too much. I wasn't anti-airing, I'm slow. So you identified it, you reflected on yourself, and now you can go and work on fixing it. And next thing you know, you keep working on it, and now you're anti-airing like a pro. Now ain't nobody jumping on you, bro. Ain't nobody gaining in on you now. That's how it works. You gotta figure out these things, not blame the game. Don't blame the lag unless you're playing delay-based netcode, then I don't blame you. But since we're all playing mostly rollback now, don't blame the lag. Don't blame the other character. Don't blame the game itself. Blame yourself. Reflect. Be truthful. And that's how you can grow. Especially if you're dealing with a lot of spamming, because I know that spamming is a big thing with beginners. Usually I see a lot of beginners being frustrated because, oh, this person is mashing this fireball or this projectile or whatever, and I just can't get past it. Well, what I would recommend with that is either A, go on training mode, set the bot to record. If you don't know how to do that, you can look up a video on it. Set the bot in training mode to record what this person was doing and figure out ways to get past it. For example, let's talk about like a Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, for example. If somebody likes to mash a fireball, you don't know what you're doing, you're just running into the fireball, running and blocking, and you can't even do that, so you keep getting hit. But now you figured out you can roll past the fireball, and it's so much more effective. Or B, you can look up a video on it, see how you can get better at it. But I would recommend figuring out for yourself, because it improves your growth and your analytical skills and things like that. So if somebody's spamming like projectile at you, I would recommend setting the bot to just mash a projectile, and you learn how to get past it the best you can. And once you figure it out, and once you're good enough to just destroy spammers, it's gonna feel very good, trust me. And going back to the topic of, learning from your losses and your mistakes, you should watch your own replays. I don't see a lot of beginners doing this. It's very rare to see somebody, even the top level players, watch their own replays. But the ones that do, those are the ones that really get good and really grow from it. Because if you go on your own replays and you are analytical of yourself, especially if you watch your own losses, that's a key part. Don't watch yourself just beat somebody down. Like, watch your losses, watch the games that you just get blown out and destroyed, and see what you did wrong in order to cause that to happen. What was I doing that really caused me to just get bodied? And once you keep doing that, you get better at identifying these things, and you get better at working on these things, and next time you maybe even fight that same person you're watching the replay, you figured out what you're doing wrong, you fixed it, now you're a lot better, and now you just body this person. But if you never look at your replays, you're probably never gonna figure out truly what you were doing wrong, so it kind of stunts your growth a little bit. And I know that a lot of players don't want to watch their own replays because they get annoyed or they get angry, they may get sad even that they watching themselves get bodied. But trust me, this is a thing that a lot of people have to do in order to truly find growth and truly get better, is to watch their own replays, watch themselves get bodied, identify why they got bodied, fix the issue that caused them to get bodied, and then go on to body the person that bodied them. This is all a cycle, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, watching your replays does wonders. Just try it. Just try it a couple times and you'll know what I mean. Even if you don't know what you're looking at, you may be thinking, John, I have no idea what the heck I am looking at here. What is all this? How am I supposed to know what I'm doing? There are a lot of streamers out there and a lot of YouTubers and a lot of Discord servers that actually analyze the replay for you and tell you exactly what you did wrong, so you don't have to do anything to analyze it. Or maybe you just don't have the knowledge in order to analyze it to a critical level, so you could have somebody else do it for you for free, might I add. So I would recommend seeing if there's any Discords that provide this, or if there's any streamers that do this. I remember that Diaphone used to do this. I don't know if he does that anymore, but I know there's a lot of ton of streamers out there that do this, so try to look out for them. And if they do offer that service, send them a video on whatever, whether it be Discord, Twitter, whatever. Make sure you have your inputs on, and make sure it's a match that you lose. Do not put yourself over. Do not put matches that you're winning in, or especially matches that you're blowing out the other person, because then the streamer or the person you got to analyze this for you doesn't see your flaws and doesn't see exactly what's wrong. So you gotta show them the worst of you in order to fix that. And last but not least, we gotta talk about mental game. Mental game is pretty much the hardest and the biggest hurdle to get through as a fighting game player in order to reach the next level. I've struggled with it. I'm pretty sure everybody struggled with it. In tournament play, you just get nervous, you get anxious, you start shaking or whatever. You drop your combos because you're so nervous and you're so like shaky, and it sucks. I deal with it to this day. I remember I played in a tournament a couple days ago and I was nervous as hell that I dropped a combo that made me lose a round. It's just the way it is. But the way you get better at this is by just keep playing, just keep entering tournaments, just keep putting yourself in these high pressure situations, whether it be playing on ranked. Maybe you're not ready for tournaments yet, just hop on ranked, play on ranked, put yourself in matches with high stakes, or just keep playing in tournaments, so that when that high stake moment happens, you'll be more likely to handle it in a lot more of a smoother way than you would have if you never done the practice beforehand. I would say look into sports psychology. Sports psychology is a lot of things. It's something that's really helped me. It's something that's very easy to take and put to transition into with fighting games. There's a lot of things in there you can definitely pick up and improve even your mental health, and definitely improve your game, your mind when it comes to playing games and playing in high pressure situations and dealing with losses and dealing with frustrations and whatever. So I recommend looking into sports psychology and putting yourself into high pressure situations constantly, so that you get better at dealing with the nerves and dealing with the anxiety, and really cashing in when other people are feeling nervous and anxious, and really make them pay for it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I try to cover as many things as I can think of when it comes to how I got started with fighting games and how I improved. This is pretty much universal. You can apply all these things into whatever game you play, whether it be a 3D fighter or a 2D fighter. But obviously, if you're looking for more specific guidance, I would recommend looking up videos or streamers of the specific game you're trying to get good at and learn from them. I was just trying to be as universal as possible. What do you guys think? If you consider yourself a higher level player or a mid-level player, what are some advice you would give for people that are trying to improve or are just getting started? Leave those in the comment section down below. Also, let me know what games y'all be playing recently. I've been playing some Strive. I've been playing pretty much only Strive, honestly. That's my game right now. That's the one I'm improving in. But let me know if you're playing some Tekken or some Blaze Blue or some even Dead or Alive I've seen, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just play fighting games. They're awesome. They're fun. You live your life. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.